You're listening to the best Phillies sports show in the Northeast on Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the Philly Sports Show with my main man, El Parcero Philly.
What's going on?
Of course, me being the Philly sports guy, and we're brought to you here on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network and Zodiac TV. And what's up, my man? How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm excited for tonight. A lot to get to, man. There's a lot of stuff going on with all five of our sports here in Philadelphia. Tonight, obviously, we got the Sixers and the Phillies. Sixers facing off against OKC, the Phillies facing off against St. Louis in a new series. So it's the start of a new week. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling good. It wasn't really that good of a week for us in Philly sports last week, which we'll get to. But I'm excited for tonight, man. It's a big week for both of us. A lot of events to get to, but it should be a good show, man. It should be a good shift, eh, boys?
Yeah, I tell you, it's going to be a very busy week. I feel like that it's been nonstop. Like my busy week started literally on Friday, like really Thursday night, and Friday was like kind of really busy for me. Just because I had a friend of mine that just passed away. I said he was a great sports fan. Somebody who I played fantasy football with and poker with for a good, like 20 some years and such. And he somebody who passed way too young, 49 years old, massive heart attack. And that was kind of how my Thursday and Friday wound up. And then, of course, on Saturday, we had a TikToker special at Subaru Stadium, which was a lot of fun. And then, of course, on Sunday. And then, of course, on Sunday with the Fly Boys, it was my last Flyers game of the year. So, and then Monday night, here we are talking about it all. So it's a lot of fun. We're doing it all here tonight. But let's get right to it because there is a ton of stuff happening here in the world of Philadelphia sports. Let's start off with the ones that we can might as well go through the quickest. The Philadelphia Flyers. Unfortunately, this week did not really do well for them to be able to gain any grounds, and it kind of looks like the only thing left is the crying, as they would say. I fully expect that they will be out of the playoffs here by the end of this week. I believe that they'll be out of the playoffs.
Mathematically out. Yeah.
Right. However, we still have New Jersey's number this year. We have not lost to New Jersey, and it's a shame that they couldn't play the last 2 minutes of that game, they could play the season like the last 2 minutes of that game. You know what I mean? It's why is it that they always seem to come, and turn it on in that last 3 to 5 minutes of a game, but can't play that way for the entire game? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand why they can't seem to turn on that switch, but they can in the last 2 minutes. Why is that?
Who knows, man? Who knows? It's a question we've been asking for. I mean, honestly, this Flyers team have probably played one or two complete 60-minute hockey games. It's just been that type of year. It mostly too. What I notice is a defense all season long. It's hit or miss. It really has been hit or miss. It's just a lot wrong, a lot of question marks, and I think I'll be honest. I'm at the point, and I think a lot of Philly sports fans feel the same way. I mean, I'm over the Flyers. I'm just ready for the season to be over, and I hate saying that. I love the Flyers, and I want to. And we're still watching as many games as we possibly can. But even right now, Philly sports guy, like we're in full swing with. We're waiting for the Sixers to get in the playoffs. The Union are just starting their season. The Phillies, we still don't know exactly what we have with the Phillies. We'll get to that in a second. But this Flyers team, it's just like so unmotivating. And I'm just really ready for the offseason because the Flyers are going to go through kind of what the Sixers went through. A lot of just like uncertainty going into the offseason, kind of like what the Sixers were doing last offseason. And you feel like, listen, this Flyers team, if you can make like what Daryl Morey did, like 2 drastic moves, maybe we can get back to being a playoff caliber team. But man, I don't really trust Chuck Fletcher. The track record is not really there. It's just really unfortunate. It was good seeing you down there. Looked like you had a lot of fun. That was one of the bright spots of the Flyers. But no, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else to be optimistic with this team as much as I want to be.
Well, and I hear people asking about like bringing up some of the younger guys, specifically Cam York. I thought about that for a minute, and the reason why you probably will not see Cam York is that I believe they have like maybe the last 4 games. I believe that it's like you cannot have him play 5 games. Or else he becomes that he gets rid of that rookie status. And yeah, so as much as I want to see Cam York, I don't know that we are going to see him. I know that they brought up Allison, and I know that they're going to protect him. But because of the expansion draft, that there's a little bit some funny rules, and my expectation is that we probably, if we do see Cam York, we're only going to see him for the last 3 or 4 games. No, it was 10 in the beginning of the season. I think it's only 5 in the end. And I can't guarantee that because I don't know enough about the rules. But I for some reason or another, I thought that the one guy was sent back down after 4 games. He did not stay up here very long. Like, so he was only 4 games here this season, mostly because of the expansion draft and the shortened season of things. Normally it
Right.
would be 10 games, but because it's a shortened season, I think it's only 5. And that's the reason why I think that they're going to do. I don't believe we're going to see Carter Hart again this year either.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean they
mean,
got
they did bring up Jackson Cates as well. I agree. I don't think we'll see Cam York. I would be interested to see if they do bring up Tyson Forrester. He's someone that's been really that everyone's been looking at. I would love to see Zay Wisdom up here as well, but that's another one where I think you might see him here more than likely next season. But it does seem like there's some talent in the pipeline, which is something you can't really say for some of the other sports. But between Jackson Cates, I mean, I love what Wade Allen has been bringing to this Flyers team. Just at a young age, the way he plays, the awareness he has too. Like I just didn't expect that from a young player like Wade Allison. So I'm definitely excited to see what he can do for us next season. And hopefully we can see some of these young players come up as well. But I agree. These next couple of games, you might see some young players, but I think guys like Cam York and Tyson Forrester and Zay Wisdom, the Flyers realize that's part of the future. You really don't want to mortgage that too much. You don't want to risk messing up their development too much as well.
well, not only that, but like why even show any of your cards right now? You know what I mean? This
Right.
season's over.
Good point.
And ultimately, I mean, it's not mathematically over yet. It's possible that the Flyers could win the last 8 games and Boston go on an epic losing streak. Uh, but I don't expect that to happen, as they would say. Because
Yeah.
in the process of that, we'd have to beat the Rangers all the times we're playing them. And that's a bigger deal. You know what I mean? So it's going to
Right.
be
And I
a much stronger.
And I hear Flyers fans. I get it. Like fans are kind of fed up with this, core that we've seen. We know the core really of Giroux, Voracek, and Coots. That type of core. They want to see some of what does a young blood have? But I'm going to tell you guys, it's not worth messing up with their development, or like the Philly sports guy said, it's not worth showing your card as well. So patience is a virtue. Give it some time. These guys are talented. They really are talented. So we'll get our time. But for now, Chuck Fletcher and this front office, their hands are gonna be really tied this off season, man.
I am Well, I don't even need to get into it. You guys already know. If you guys follow me even a little bit, you already know how I feel about Chuck Fletcher. You already know how I feel about the upper management of the Philadelphia Flyers. And I can imagine that if they've just watched one of my shows, that could be one of the reasons why they're not so quick to call me up and ask me if I want to come down to the games. But I have been a lifelong Flyers fan, and I don't know how to like any other team. And I am really unhappy with the way that this team has been run. and the way that this franchise has been handled as of late. And it's very, very frustrating to watch. To see how this season played out. And I hope that they're able to come back next season with a little bit of a fresher look, a little bit more of a tightened defense, and we could see something worthwhile out of this team. Because as of right now, I mean,
No, look,
it's
it's
difficult.
not
It's
motivating.
difficult hockey to watch. It's difficult hockey to watch. They still are playing with the puck. Why pass it all the friggin' time? The lanes aren't even open for your passes, and you feel like you still just. So, but I said that was going to be quick because listen, there's only 8 games left. They gotta catch up 9 points in 8 games. I don't think it's happening. Right now, the only thing that I could say is I would feel happy about beating the Rangers and making sure they remain out of the playoffs as well.
Amen.
That's that. Next, the Philadelphia 76ers. And where's
About to
Ben
start.
Simmons? Where's Ben
So actually,
Simmons?
so to that point, the lineup tonight, it's your starting lineup. Ben is starting, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Ben is going to start. We don't have Seth Curry tonight. We're gonna have Furkan Korkmaz, who is questionable as well. He will be in the starting lineup, as well as Tobias Harris. And yes, oh wait, Seth Curry is out there. That's interesting. The lineup said that he wasn't, but Seth Curry's out there, guys. Looks like it's the complete starting lineup. In that case, you're gonna have Ben, Seth, Danny. I'm looking right here. Okay, so here's what's happening. I got it all now. So it was all confusing. So you got Ben, Seth, Furky, Toby, and Joel Embiid in your starting lineup, and they just tipped off in South Philly.
And here it is. You got, what is it? Like, why 4 games in a row? All without Ben Simmons. All 4 losses. Is Ben Simmons really much more important than Joel Embiid?
No. He's definitely, obviously, Joel is pretty much, the main clog of the all. But this is why it's so frustrating to evaluate Ben Simmons, because he's still like really important for this team. The way he facilitates the ball, he pretty much creates the quick transitions from the defense to the offense. You could tell when he's not out there, they do look a little bit out of sync. He's really important, but you're right. Like, what illness did you have to miss 8 days? Like those are different things that we ask. Obviously, everyone always wants to know, why doesn't he shoot? Why don't you play aggressively every single night either? I don't listen. The shooting is irrelevant for me, but there's other things that Ben does that is really well. I need him to play more aggressively. And if we want to make a run in the playoffs, he needs to play more aggressively. And the spacing is going to, I think the spacing is going to be there come playoff time. It's obviously not there right now. And the bench right now, Shake has been shaky to say the least. That's been an issue with the rotation. We all expected him to be the 6th man, but he's not playing like the 6th man. And if it continues the way it's looking like, your rotation come playoff time, it's probably going to be George Hill, Matisse Thybulle, and Dwight Howard. Teams playoff time don't go more than they usually don't go more than an 8-man rotation. So I want to see Shake as that 6th man. I want to see him come off the bench because I know the capability to Shake. But I'm sorry, 5 points a night is not going to cut it. 5 turnovers a night is also not going to cut it. So we'll see. I'll keep my eye on him tonight for sure.
So I don't want to start the rumor, but I don't think Ben was sick. I mentioned a few weeks ago that he had a very serious family thing going on, and I'd be willing to bet that that's what he was doing. I don't believe that he was sick for 8 days. I believe that he was taking care of that family business, and I think it was just weighing on him in a couple of games. And I think that they said, "Listen, we're gonna say that you're sick, and go take care of yourself here." Because
Right.
I think that's what happened. It's what makes the most amount of sense. And then you say, all right, he's going to come back questionable because, well, he ain't played in 8 days. You know what I mean? So that makes it easy to say, hey, yeah, he's questionable because, well, he ain't played. So that again, I can't speak with any assuredness. I don't have any contacts with the Sixers that are calling me up and saying, hey, we would like you to report it like this. So at least not yet. I'm working on it, but
Yeah,
I
I
fully
thought of that.
expect that he's going to be fine.
I definitely thought about it, because I mean, we obviously knew about that situation. I mean, I know we have like these like discussions and debates about load management and whatnot, but listen, it's been like 4 minutes in this game. Ben looks refreshed.
Of
He's
course he
active.
does.
He's moving up and down the court. So it might not have been the worst possible case that he missed the week. It does suck because we did lose some ground in the East. I still want that number 1 seed. I want Philly. I want the East to go through Philadelphia come playoff time. But at the end of the day, you still just need to get into the dance. That's really all you need to do. Just get into the dance. You worry about the rest later. But you got about what we have like I think about 10 games left, if that. Plenty of time for this team to get that continuity down right, get it all right before we head into the playoffs. So it was a rough week. The Sixers got swept all week. They didn't win a single game. That's always rough. And a couple games the way they went down, but you faced off. You really played some quality opponents last week. You really did. You missed some key players. This week it's a new week. You're leading right now. I know it's early, but I think this week is going to be much better for the Sixers. And it's easy. It's an easy road now. A lot easy opponent.
Yeah, I think it's actually 12 games that they have left.
Cool.
And
cool.
Yeah, because they don't even know when they're going to play that last game because they're going to stagger it because there's so many other teams that have to catch up, to what's going on. But like I said, from the very beginning of the season, I said that the Sixers were going to wind up in the number 2 spot, and then that they were going to wind up, beating whoever they need to beat to get into the finals. And either they'll beat a Laker team or they'll lose to a Clipper team. And I'm still, as of right now, it still kind of looks that way. I wish I could say that I was wrong, but sometimes you just get a feeling about something, and I've been sticking to that feeling. So I fully expect that the Sixers are going to come out of there, come out of the East. And although, Chris, that you like to say that the East is weak, truth of the matter is that they ain't weak. They ain't weak. If who's weak? Utah. I feel Utah's a fraud. I feel like Denver would beat Utah if they had everybody healthy. I feel that the Lakers are still really the team to beat out there. And it's going to be the Clippers that got to go through the Lakers to get here, get there. I
really like that Suns team out there, though.
Huh?
I really like that Suns team out there. I mean, Chris Paul's
I think that
playing
they're another
MVP
season away. I feel like the Suns are another season away.
I wonder how much longer Chris Paul has, though. If that's the case,
at least one more season.
Interesting.
But yeah, Denver without Murray is a mess. You know what I mean? They just can't. They can't replace him. You can't replace him.
He was their closer.
Yeah. So ultimately, I feel like that the Sixers playing without Ben Simmons is really kind of showed the weakness in their defense.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it that's another thing. Like even the defense is out of sync when he's not in there. And the fact of the matter is he's the best defender in the NBA. Like there's not many that can guard 1 through 5 the way Ben Simmons does. And it's crazy. We love to kill him on his offensive game. And I understand. Like, I completely understand. But, my God, the way his defensive prowess is great. And the thing is, he might not score a lot, but he makes plays defensively that kind of change the game. Like, there's instances where he does that. It's funny, too, Philly sports guy. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're going full process. I don't know one player on the court right now. It looks like the process years.
Right. Well, no, and I could believe that. I mean, but they got rid of everybody. They literally got rid of everybody.
Yeah.
Specifically, it was like, okay.
They said Al Horford for being old.
Now, and that's kind of that's what happens sometimes. That's what happens. But you know what? Ultimately, OKC, that's fine. All right. So if you're going to try to right the ship, going up against OKC is going to be the way to do it. You could rest your starters a little bit, and get Ben out there, get his legs under him, to make sure everything's okay, and then go back to doing his thing. But
So the Philly sports guy, we were also able this past week to see finally. I know a lot of Sixers fans were a little worried, but we finally were able to see George Hill. That's another key point of the week. Look, it's clear he's not as athletic as he once was, but the athleticism I felt like was still there, and I feel like once he gets his legs back under him, he's going to be a crucial part of this team. That veteran leadership is important as well. Guys played a lot of NBA basketball. He played on some solid teams as well. So I think that all that's going to be really valuable for us come playoff time.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm interested to see how he plays, because realistically, he has not been able to really hold. Obviously he's been hurt, but all right. And then he comes back in, and we get blown out in the first couple of games. So
yeah, man. Furky just hit 2 threes as well in this game.
Well, that's because you know what, he always likes to make a lot of shots against teams that it don't matter that he makes them against. That's Furk. That's Korkmaz's MO. You know what I mean? I'll play great against bad teams, but hey, listen, I guess you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? That's why you don't really mention him very much when you start to talk about that 8-man rotation.
Yeah,
he might get like 3 or 4 minutes a night, in there, just to, give Tobias Harris a little blow, for a minute. Yeah, but short of that, I expect Tobias will probably be 48-minute man.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't, like I said, I'm still happy with Howard, and you could tell Howard has been a little winded. He's been playing a little bit extra minutes, and he gets winded. He definitely gets tired, and you can kind of see that all happening.
A lot of basketball being played for him.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I feel like that they're going to be able to, get a little bit of rest tonight. You're going to see those guys that you never see, because they'll be up by like 38 points with 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So at least that's what I expect. I expect it to be like a blowout game tonight. I hope.
Sixers fans are also clamoring for no more Mike Scott starting as well.
Well, I don't blame him. No more Mike Scott threes either. Don't shoot a 3, Mike. You ain't got it. You are not like the other Mike. Don't try it. It's just, do what you do best. Drive a little bit and pull up. From about 8 feet away. That's your spot. 8 foot away. 2, 2, 2. Stop trying to go 3.
Quick reminder that we also are playing against the GOAT, Tony Bradley, as well. He's on their bench tonight for Oklahoma City. Shouts to Tony Bradley. Thank you for the couple games you gave us. That was some fun games from him.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll probably get some playing time tonight, because
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a nobody, just the same as everybody else on that team.
Well, Joel Embiid said you got to build a team around Tony Bradley. So
there you go. You gotta get the pieces around him. You know what I mean? Because he's really the catalyst in championship building.
Right. Absolutely, man.
I can imagine that's exactly what they're saying in OKC too. You know what I mean? Along with, hey, how do we try to get the first pick in the draft?
Yeah, man.
Although, like I don't even know who would be the first pick in the draft. You know what I mean? I even watched some college basketball, but nobody stood out to me. Anybody great?
Might be a 2013 type of draft class. When you had Anthony Bennett go number 1 overall, the Sixers trade Drew Holiday in a first, or no, the Drew Holiday for Nerlens in a first. You might see that type of draft here. I will give credit to OKC. The process here in Philly was very critical. Some fans were for it. Some fans were against it. But I will say, I think what Presti's doing is what I wish Sam Hinkie would have done. The amount of draft picks that they have, the amount of draft capital that they have, and they're going full tank mode. Like, there's players I don't even know on this roster. So they're trying to get the number 1 pick on their own. So I think OKC, if they draft right the next 3 seasons, by 2000, I'll say 2026, 27, they might be a contender, depending on how well they draft.
Wow, that's a lot of years. That's like 5-6 years.
But think about how long it took for us. So, like, we started the process in 2013 was the first year. We didn't get good until 2017, and we still haven't even made we haven't even made an Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
We have one of the biggest generational players on this roster in Joel Embiid, and we still haven't made it. So it takes time. It's rough, and
Well,
obviously,
especially when you choose a number one pick and they sit for a year, and then you choose a number one pick and they sit for a year, and then you choose a number one pick and then he has to sit for a year because he stinks out loud. Is he even still on Orlando? Everybody forgets him.
Markel actually was he had a nasty injury this year, so he sat out the year.
Of course he did, because he stinks.
Oh man. Also another thing too, last season kind of, put the Sixers back a little bit. The way that Elton Brand put together a starting line that didn't mesh, and it really hurt Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. That kind of, derailed the process as well. But we're back on track. We'll see what happens in this playoffs. But yeah, man, it takes a while to win the NBA. It's a tough league to win, and that's for sure. Unless you got them superstars.
I mean, I liked what Hinkie was doing. I am unhappy that the NBA was really, that the NBA kind of took over. Like, hey, you're not allowed to do this anymore. Like, what? Who are you to tell us what to do and what not to do? We were getting assets,
right?
And then they brought Colangelo in there. Good job, NBA. That was a winner, right? Well, he's,
the whole family was here.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. It was so ridiculous. Hold on. Let's do let me sign on to my other Twitter account and tell me how you're a loser. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I can't tell you you're a loser to your face. I have to be another guy and tell you you're a loser. And then I'm gonna blame my wife. Get out of here. You're weak sauce. Straight weak sauce.
As much as it sucked to lose all those years, and it really sucked, and it really sucked seeing bad basketball. Unfortunately, for those who are against the process, unfortunately, the way the NBA works, you need those superstars. And listen, newsflash: no superstar wants to come and play in Philadelphia unless there is a winning situation here. So what Sam Hinkie did was put the Sixers in the best possible situation to draft good players. He wasn't a good drafter. I'll give you that. Joel Embiid was the only draft pick that he can show for. Out of all I think he was part of 3 NBA drafts or whatever it was. So we had no choice.
He didn't pick Simmons either?
He did not. He literally got the axe right before that draft. And he probably would have drafted Ben Simmons too,
Right. Yeah. That was Colangelo. Well, it was the old man Colangelo, not even the kid.
Yeah. Jerry.
Or the wife. Whoever it was, I mean, I guess it could have been anybody, any one of those Colangelos. They were all involved in that whole debacle. Thanks, NBA.
Yes, yeah,
douchebags.
They made us hire Mike D'Antoni to be the assistant coach to Brett Brown. That was really crazy, man.
Wow, and Brett Brown was a good coach, but when you are put into a situation where you lose all the time, you start to become a loser. Unfortunately, I think that's what happened. I think that he had all the right intentions. He was
perfect for what we needed for. He was there for the process years. Listen, the Philly sports guy. How many processors are still in the league? If you ask them, some of them won't give him credit to him because they gave him the opportunity and he still is developing. I do think his time was, he ran his course here in Philly. And look, we upgraded. We got Doc. Doc is doing a solid job so far. And Brett had a place, and Brett's job was really important for our development here, our process.
Well, let's say, we have to now complete the process. That's the problem. We need to we need to bring the process to a close, and that only comes with a close with a championship. So, because everything else that's where this yardstick gets measured. You started out tanking. has to end in a championship.
Amen.
If it doesn't end in a championship, then you can't prove that it was a worthwhile process. The process then becomes a failure.
I'm ready to party with you down Broad Street, man. Come on.
Hey, listen, that will be exciting. That will be exciting when the Philly sports guy gets to run down Broad Street, following behind whoever, whatever. That'll be the time. That'll be a lot of fun. Last time I was on Broad Street as the Philly sports guy, it was a Mummers Parade. So that tells you that was 2 years ago because they didn't have the Mummers Parade this past year.
That's right.
So,
awesome
but
stuff, man.
There was another Philadelphia team that played this weekend, and we had a high-profile owner come in, bringing in his other team. May not be high-profile to many of you, but David Beckham is still one of the most widely known soccer stars, even though he don't play soccer anymore, in the world. He was married to a Spice Girl, wasn't he?
He still is. Posh Spice.
Yes, see, there you go.
They've had 3 beautiful kids, and I think they moved to South Beach. I would assume they moved to South Beach, but obviously live in LA for a while.
But there you go. So and he brought his Inter Miami team here, and they went onto the pitch, and we were there watching them. And I tell you, the first half was exactly like the first half of every game that we've seen in the Union. More defensive style, more just trying to control the play some. The play, I find that in the first half, the Union don't give up much defensively. And then, like they said, they do get a couple of plays, but for the most part, it stays between the 16s. You don't really get into the boxes very much.
Right.
Second half, they had really 3 or 4 great chances.
Oh yeah,
and only was able to capitalize on one of them. And of course, that was the first goal of the game. Happened literally right in front of us.
yeah.
And which was really nice. And then they were really, I feel like they were outplayed after that. They kind of took it easy, and that is the reason why. Like, they had their 3 or 4 chances. They actually had 3 chances. It was the 3rd chance that they scored on. They had one more chance after that, and after that 4th chance, Inter Miami really started to take it to them, and then they scored a couple of goals. One, I think it was on a corner, and the other one was on a good cross by the brothers that play on that team. And what are they called? They're called PCs.
PCs.
What is it? They have that. They're the max contracts.
Oh, the DPs. No,
DPs.
So Gonzalo, I believe he's the younger brother. He's a DP. He came from Juventus in Serie A in Italy, and his older brother Federico Higuain, he kind of had a different route to soccer. He spent a lot of time in the MLS too. I believe like the last 8 seasons, I would say he's played in the MLS. Now he's playing with Inter Miami with his brother. They're both playing there. But yes, Gonzalo is a DP. Designated player.
Yeah, so he gets paid a lot of money to be here, and he happened to score a goal. He found out what Philly was all about, though. He now knows what Philly was all about. So,
okay, so first off, can we just applaud the Philly sports guy right there, because that was like the first time I've seen him analyze a soccer match, and I want to say, brother, you did a fantastic job, man. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you, man. It was great.
See, now I did play soccer for a little while. Like, I was a fullback and a goalie. Like I says, I didn't mind. So, but I get to show off a little bit of soccer knowledge there, and
I love it.
So especially when I'm at the game, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of fun, and listening to you kind of teach Carter Hart, because Carter Hart was there with us as well, and I fully give the loss to him, because the curse of Carter Hart is a real thing. Seems like every game, not necessarily every game he goes to, but every game I watch with him, and that I know that you have watched with him, they lose. In fact, we did a doubleheader, and we lost both of those games. which
That's rough,
is
man.
tough. That's tough when you
Yes.
do 7 hours with Carter Hart and you lose both games.
Kata, if you're out there, man, I don't know, man. You got some bad juju or something, but we're not winning games when you're there with us.
The
Man.
curse of Carter Hart. So he can watch the games. I'm sure they can't lose them all.
Right.
But it seems like
Right.
every time he's at a game with one of us, they lose. And we were undefeated up to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we were 1-0.
For what? For you and me watching the Union matches.
Oh, so
Is that what
2-0, really. So we're 1-0 for the Union, 1-0 for the Flyers.
That's right.
So, and so
Wait
it's
till we go to
really,
the Phillies.
yep. So it was really kind of hot that, like I said, I put that whole loss on him. But that's okay because they also have a game tomorrow night, which is really a much more important game. It's,
Right.
I've kind of looked at it like, okay, that was maybe the reason why they pulled up some, at the end. Like I said, with like around the 60th minute, it seemed that they just were getting outplayed and they were getting out hustled a little bit.
Right.
But I think that had more to do with the fact that they are going to be playing tomorrow night for something a little bit more important as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man. So listen, Saturday night it sucked. Like you said, I felt like the Union controlled most of the match. For most of it, yes, they were the better team. They looked like the better team. I do want to give credit to Miami. Before that match last season, we took it to Miami twice in Orlando for the MLS is Back tournament, and when they were up here in Gonzalo Higuain's first match in the MLS, we took it to them twice. So these guys, look, there's some players on Miami who's played in some really important matches. Gonzalo Higuain, like I mentioned, and Blase Matuidi, number 8, who plays central defensive midfield for Miami. Those two came from Juventus. They played in Champions League, like UEFA Champions League. They played in some important matches for their country. Blase Matuidi, I believe he's got a World Cup with France. Rodolfo Pizarro has a CONCACAF Champions League under his belt. He won it with Monterrey. So there's some good pedigree over there. So they remember what happened last season. They came in here prepared. They knew it was going to be a physical battle. They know how we play. They came prepared. They studied the film. So I really do want to give credit to Miami where credit is due because they finished the game. What I noticed, Philly Sports Guy, was in the second half when we started making some of those subs. Obviously, we had Corey Burke make his first start or first appearance for the Union this season. He came on for Sergio Santos. That was the first substitution. He had a good opportunity, literally not even a minute on the field. He had a good opportunity to score a goal. He didn't convert, and then he kind of went quiet after that. Then you had, I believe, Anthony Fontana coming for Leon Flack. Fontana's playing a position he's not really comfortable at. He's playing the shuttle midfielder. And then Elsinho came in for Kasper Shabilko. So what you had Corey Burke and Elsinho, play as those forwards. Elsinho only played 10 minutes. He got hurt. He hurt his calf. So you had to put Jack McGlynn in. So then, right there, you had subs that really weren't contributing much to you. And usually these guys, those 3 guys that I mentioned, usually create an instant spark when they come off the bench. Those 3 weren't giving it to you, which resulted to what you did see. It's unfortunate because it's 2 goals, kind of similar. It was one on the free kick. Gonzalo gets a nice head on the he put the head on with the position perfectly on the ball to get the goal in. And then the Federico Higuain goal. Federico's I believe 5'6", 5'7". He's a short dude. We have some pretty big center backs here. I think Jakob and Jack are both at minimum 6'4". They're big boys. For soccer players, they're some big boys. They kind of lost Federico Higuain, and he was able to put his head on the ball as well. And the momentum kind of just went back to Miami. Miami finished it out. Definitely give them credit. The first time in MLS history, 2 brothers on the same team score in a game against another team. So history was made against Miami, and it does suck. After I get home and I put on Sports Center and I see the Inter Miami and Philadelphia Union match highlights. The one time my Union are on Sports Center, they want to show a loss. I was just going furious, absolutely furious, man. But to your point, tomorrow, like you mentioned, really important match. CONCACAF Champions League, the Union advanced after beating Saprissa in the first round. This is going to be tough. Atlanta, we have some history with those guys. They have our number in their young history. And the difference is we didn't play them last year. the last time we played them, this Union team was a little bit different. This Union team now is much more faster, much more physical. This Atlanta United team, they kind of have changed the way they look again. It's a much different team than what the Union saw 2 years ago. This Atlanta United team, they got back to their South American roots. You see the South American flair. They play that quick, fast-paced style of soccer. And for the Union, they just got to play their game. I think if they go down there, play their game, Jim always gets these guys prepared for tournament-like situations like we're going to see tomorrow night. And I really like our chances against Atlanta United in this round, man.
I hear that. I know that I don't know enough about Atlanta. I know that they didn't win the Supporter Shield last season. We did. And that's what that shield is in Philadelphia. And had they played better, they would maybe have gotten the shield, but they didn't. We have the shield.
So last season, Atlanta, they got hit with the injury bug bad, like really bad. They lost their best player, Josef Martinez. A couple other players went down, and after the tournament, MLS back tournament, they let go their coach Frank de Boer, who ironically now is the Netherlands manager. Which was wild. He gets fired from an MLS club, and now he's managing one of the biggest countries in soccer in the world, which is crazy. But I digress with that. So then after that, Atlanta decided, look, we tried with Frank de Boer, a European-style manager. It didn't work. Let's go back to our roots. So they went and got Gabriel Heinze, an Argentine manager. He brought back that South American flair. They brought in some Latino American players all over South America, and they got Jurgen Damm, who came from Mexico. So the thing is, this Atlanta, they look okay so far. I mean, they beat the best Costa Rican team right now. Saprisa's really falling off. Alajuelense, who they beat, was the better team. So they beat a really good team with a backup goalie. They tied Orlando in their first match. They just beat Chicago on Saturday. So we don't really know what this Atlanta United team is going to look like. This Union team is probably the best team that they have faced in this young season. So it'll be a good test for both sides, and that it's going to be in the Benz. It's going to be in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. For those who do know, obviously that's home of the Atlanta Falcons. But it's a different animal when it's for soccer. It is much more livelier when it's for soccer. For whatever reason, they don't sell out for the Falcons, but they do sell out for Atlanta United. So they're going to have the home pitch advantage. So that's something you're going to want to look out for as well.
And obviously, that's not real grass, so things will be moving a lot faster. That speed actually helps Atlanta a little bit, and helps with the South American style of play. So it's going to be imperative that the defense keeps the ball in front of them. That's really going to be the thing. That was the one thing that you kind of saw with Miami. They were able to take advantages of the little cracks in the armor, the chinks in the armor, the defense, and they would start using their speed to get around the defenders. And the defense is not going to be able to do that well with Atlanta, especially playing on AstroTurf. Obviously, I'm calling it AstroTurf. It's called Next Turf or whatever it is called. It's the fake grass is just it's going to be a lot faster, and it's going to be important that they keep that ball in front of them and they keep everything moving in the opposite direction.
Right.
So
I believe the Falcons use the same type of grass, right? It's the same thing. They just paint over it for soccer and then for football.
I'm sure. So they probably just wash that field, and it's probably the same stuff. I can't imagine that they're changing it very much. You know what I mean? They're not pulling up the carpet.
Right.
It's not like the vet here that's got like doors and trap doors and everything underneath of it. That probably is all glued down all nicey nice and things like that. So I will say that there was a good amount of Miami fans that came up from for the game. And I know that there was a little bit of stuff that kind of happened after the fact. I'm not going to try to get into that. Fans are fans, and sometimes you'll have a couple of bad apples in every bunch. So it's not like, from what I understand, that it was not one of their traditional fans. It was somebody who had a little bit too much to drink and decided to go a little rogue. But for the most part, they were good guys. And they were enjoying their team, and I can appreciate that, because God knows that I I am very similar. You know what I mean? I'm going to enjoy my team, and I want to do the same things that they're doing. I want to dance and sing and carry on and do that stuff after the game. So just to show that I won.
I will say, you and I, we interacted with some Miami fans, and it was nothing but positive stuff. Obviously, a lot of Miami fans are of Latino descent, and it was great to see them recognize my sombrero and being able to talk to them in our native tongue. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience seeing them bring that, like, the Latino, like the South American flair of soccer, that culture they brought up here. The songs a couple of songs I recognized from watching Colombian soccer. So kind of, I felt a little bit at home. Obviously, that stuff was unfortunate. I'm glad everyone is okay. Yeah, it was a good time. It's always cool seeing those fans as well. And like I told you and Kata Hart that night, the MLS community, we're small. We're not like the NFL, the MLB, the NHL, the NBA, or heck, we're not even like the Premier League community. We're much smaller compared to those. So when you see fans of other teams support the way you do, we show love. That's what we do. We show love to one another. We got each other's backs. We do it for the love of the game. We love soccer. We want to see it grow in America. So it's cool to just interact with those type of people, man.
Yeah, and like I said, it was. Of course, I mean, I would say that they probably travel better than most of the Dolphins fans do, because you never see a Dolphins fan anywhere outside of Miami. So I was surprised that I figured people in Miami stay in Miami, but no, actually, it was good to see a team kind of come up out of Florida to say to hang
I
out.
heard a big Dolphin contingency in Jersey though. Like, those people didn't want to be Jets fans or Giants fans. They became Dolphins fans just to piss those guys off. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's like the Chiefs bar that's somewhere in Philadelphia somewhere.
Charlie Saloon?
Yeah, so it's like, like, who wants to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan in the middle of Pennsylvania? I guess some people do. So.
Literally less than a mile from the link.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's funny that there's Dolphins fans anywhere else in the world, because they definitely ain't in Miami.
Right.
So
yeah,
there are few in Miami. So
before we move on, just want to let you guys know. So obviously tomorrow is a really important match. We end this week with match day 3 for the Union. We're back at home, and we got to host NYCFC. Can be tricky matches sometimes, but this NYCF team is not as strong as usual. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, but this weekend we better get 3 points.
Right. So, and they play NYC this Saturday.
Right.
And then the following Saturday is when we play, or is it Wednesday? The next Wednesday.
I believe it'll be next Wednesday. We'll play Atlanta for leg 2.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd like to be home for that. I want to see if it's on a Wednesday. Dang, I'm not going to be able to do that because I got my other show going on. But we'll be keeping track of what's going on and stuff like that. It's going to be important. Right. Hey, you know what? Last time I did a show, I actually went to the game. Some of those games are fairly important. So we've got to figure that out and make sure that something like that happens. But so yeah, absolutely, it was a lot of fun being at the game. Unfortunately, it was a loss. Again, all placed on Kata Hart, 100%. That he was the reason for that loss. And like I says, we'll give it to him. We understand that's part of what happens here. And but. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just real quick, for anybody who is a Union fan and is interested, I know I never talk enough about these guys, and I really should. You see the ticker going on underneath, and you see them up in the top corner here, Philly Sports Trips. They are running a trip to Nashville to watch the Union play against the Nashville. Is it the Nashville FC?
Nashville SC.
So, and they are, like I says, it's a great thing. It's going to be 4th of July in Nashville. So definitely, if you have the opportunity, check them out. PhillySportsTrips.com. They do fantastic work. Vince and his crew over there are really just out of this world. And he was there at the game with us. So we took some pictures. Like I said, we were like brothers out there. He's got a little bit less hair than I do. So we were shining together. because I shimmer in gold, And do you know that they had us on the news? Well, they had me on the news. I don't know if they had you guys in
You
there.
made the news. That's right. I recorded it. It's going to be on the vlog tonight.
Oh, I did not. I never saw it. So I just know that the camera guy was like, "Hey, you ready to do something? I need you to do something." I'm like, "Okay." And I won. It was the first time I did a whole banter about the union, and it came out pretty well because everybody was cheering behind me. So that was
we all applauded after.
Yeah, so it was like, just
Dude,
sometimes you get to wing it, you're just like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. You scream and yell and carry on, and then just sometimes it works.
Guys, the amount of love that people were showing the Philly sports guy was absolutely amazing. Like everyone's asking for pictures. Everyone's like wanting him to say something. We met this beautiful. I think there were two families that were hanging out together that were parked next to us, and the parking lot. Shouts to those guys as well. It was definitely great. And I really want to say, like, this is what we needed down at Subaru Park. I'm going in my third year of union coverage full time. And, we've never had anything like you down there. And it's been so important having you down there. The fact that you can go through an Eagles, go to an Eagles game and cheer them on, and then come back here to Chester and cheer them on. That's what the Philadelphia Union needed. And it was so good seeing you there again, man. And people want more. They want more, man. They're asking for more. You're like the Popeyes chicken sandwich, man. People are willing to kill to see you.
Yeah, and you know what? And then to turn right around and just go right around the next day and then go from the gold and blue, the blue and gold to the orange and black. You know what I mean? It's
you don't stop, man.
And then later on this week, I'm going to be in the silver and green. So it never stops. It never stops. It goes full bore all the time. So like I said, it was a lot of fun. And it's always great to go to a game with you and hang out and do the thing. And
we got more to do too, man.
Oh yeah, lots more. And it's always fun because like I always make the joke that the only Spanish I took 4 years of Spanish, and the only sentence I know in Spanish is "tu lápiz es pequeña." So your pencil is small, which sounds really funny if that was the only thing I could say to all those guys from Miami. It'd be like, hey, yeah, your tu lápiz es pequeña. I'm like my pencil is small. That's what he's saying. But it's great when you I hear you talk about that and stuff like that, and just you rolling them R's and you saying those Spanish names. I tell you, it is really awesome. So it's one of those things that I kind of wish I could do a little bit better. It's like I wish I went to Spanish class maybe a little bit more. Because then maybe I'd understand a little bit of Italian too. I mean, they are fairly close, but
yeah, man.
Yeah, my family don't like me either. My family don't like me either over in Italy.
So I do know a little Italian. The problem is when I speak Italian, I just want to revert back to Spanish. That's my problem. But yeah, it's a lot of the stuff is definitely like. And hey, man, Philly sports guy, all I want to do, man, is show that some of us Philadelphians we speak Spanish too, man. That's all it is.
Hey, I get it. So it says, being a sports fan has nothing to do with the language you speak. Sports is, universal. So
yes. Amen.
That's the important part.
Well said.
Hey, listen, we're going to take the break a little early. I know we're only at 53 minutes, but we're going to break a little early because we still have a lot more to talk about. Okay. Like I says, I know that we'll probably spend the rest of the time talking about what everybody else wants to talk about. We wanted to get the other stuff out of the way first, but now we'll be getting to the meat of the matter right after these messages. So come right back. We'll be back here in about 90 seconds.
You're listening to Northeast Streaming Sports. A group of independent podcasts came together under one umbrella to give you a network that streams from Northeast, New York, down the East Coast to Louisiana, and across the Atlantic Ocean to the United Kingdom. Northeast Streaming Sports streams live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Can be seen on Twitter and Instagram. Audio carried on Spotify with our own website for the best sports information, updates, commentary, and entertainment. Sports Scope, TGI Sports Talk, The Safety and the Sports Writer, The Philly Sports Guy, The Mac and Jack Sports Show, Stu's Wrestling Podcast, Four Stripes on Ice, Talking Baseball with Sal and Gioletti, Unscripted, The Big Shaw Sports Report, Frankie C Sports, Fantasy Football Face-Off, 12 shows and growing. There's one place to get your sports on Northeast Streaming Sports.
I tell you, that was a lot because I didn't get to hear any of that sound. That was perfect timing on my side. I just got back here just a second ago. So the dog wanted to get out and everything. So I was able to make that all happen.
Gotta let the dog out, man.
So which one should we do first? Your side or my side?
Let's do the Phillies first because I think the Eagles, we got a lot to talk about with the Eagles.
We do have a lot to talk about with the Eagles. So I know that we've already been asked it a couple times. There's some people that have already thought about this. There is a new, I won't call him new, a different starting center fielder tonight.
Returning starting center fielder.
Yes. And I'm going to have you start off.
You want me to start off here? No, man.
I do. I do want you to start off because I feel that you are going to better accentuate kind of what some of the sentiment is, or the thought process that is coming from the Latino community.
Right. I mean, look, you know me, man, and there's a reason why I still own an Al Horford jersey, right? Because I want to see good Latinos play here in Philadelphia. Odubel Herrera got called up today. It's his first game. We've seen him since 2019, I believe. It's been a long time since we've seen Odubel Herrera up here. I mean, we've seen the center field play this year. We knew this before the season even started. We knew this was a weakness of ours, right? And after watching however many games we saw Adam Hazley, after watching Roman Quinn try to be a home run hitter for all these games, they even tried Mickey Moniak. He didn't really do anything in Colorado. We tried it. We tried almost everything, and the Phillies have no choice. They're going to try to go with Odubel Herrera here today. I believe the game just started actually 10 minutes ago in St. Louis. So Odubel Herrera's here. We'll see what he has. We talked about this before. Really, the important part for me is I understand the old school sentiment in Latino America when it comes to domestic violence. Most of the time when a man hits a woman in Latino America, everyone else just wants to look the other way. That doesn't fly here in America, though. Like we take this stuff very seriously. And really what I wanted to know is how Odubel learned his lesson, because obviously he had to go through all the court stuff. I'm sure he went through hell. But what else did he do? Like, did he go through like sensitivity classes? Did he go through therapy? Did he see someone? Like, what does he change? What does he learn from this? Obviously, he gives you a better bat than Hazley, Quinn, and Mickey Moniak right now. But we talked about it defensively. He can be a liability. We've seen him be a liability. So that's definitely a concern as well. I honestly, Philly Sports Guy, I was thinking about it today too. Like, I wasn't thinking about Odubel, but I was thinking like, Nick Maton, it looked like he belongs here in Philadelphia. Like, I don't want to see him back in Reading. I want to see him here in Philly. When Gene Segura comes back, I would have been cool with seeing Nick try out at center field. You have Didi and you have Gene Segura already at shortstop and second. Nick's bat proves that he still belongs here. He deserves to start. So that's what I wanted to see. But the Phillies just felt otherwise. I have a Jim Salisbury article here, who, if you guys don't know, he's I think the lead writer for NBC Sports Philly. The article headline: Phillies bring up Odubel Herrera, and in quotations, we just felt it was time. So I'm assuming the Phillies felt like it was time for Odubel to give him the opportunity to see if he can be the center fielder here for Philadelphia. As a Latino, I'm happy he gets a second chance. But again, I don't know where his head's at, and that's where I'm worried at. And also, too, I'm worried about this dugout. How's this dugout reacting to Odubel? Have they forgiven Odubel Herrera? So a lot of question marks here, but I guess regardless, we're gonna see what Odubel can do here for us.
So, I've thought about this. I've thought about this long and hard, and I have not had the most saintly past. I've gotten myself in trouble sometimes. I have spent my time, I won't say incarcerated, but I have had, I've had some dealings with the law that required me to, uh, fix those problems. And ultimately, you spend your time, you pay your penance, and you move forward. And I understand why some people want to um, lynch. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can do it. They want to burn them at the stake. And I understand that kind of thought process, but I also understand that if you're going to go ahead and start screaming and carrying on, you better not have done anything of the such to anybody similar. I better not like you. So if you are holier than thou, that you can go ahead and say that this guy doesn't deserve a second chance. Oh, I wouldn't have gotten a second chance. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done that. Truth of the matter is that this has been going on in our country for a very, very long time. And I also have had people in my life that had to deal with something similar to this. That everything, it's, you think about things, it's only 20 years ago we were smoking in hospitals. Just to give you an idea. Now, I understand we're talking about beating women and smoking in hospitals, but that's just how far we've come as a society within the last 20 years. We had the Me Too movement, we had things like that. Truth of the matter is that if everybody who's so diehard to like I said, to burn this guy at the stake and lynch him for doing what he did wrong, you better look inside and use some of that energy to fix yourselves as well. And that's really what I got to say about that. Because I know that I could say all those things and I can kind of agree with you. Listen, you're not supposed to beat a woman. You're not supposed to raise your hands to a woman. You're not supposed to do any of that. And it's very important that everybody know that.
Right.
It happened. It happened. And, after listening to you, I thought about how somebody can be brought up a much different way than I can. That's not ingrained in them from a young age. And when it's not, how do you give them a pass? How do you learn to give them a pass? So you're going to go ahead and listen. I know Angelo Cataldi's going to be all over this tomorrow morning. He's going to say, and he's going to be the one with the biggest pitchfork. Burn him, kill him. He's going to be doing all those things. Mr. Angelo Cataldi, who's been married 3 times and has not been the biggest saint either. So you could go ahead and listen to him and follow him. Or you can listen to yourself and realize, hey, listen, we are all human beings, and this guy made an egregious mistake that should never be forgotten. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't deserve to play anymore. He can't do this. He can't do that. Hey, listen, he'd still be getting paid either way.
Right.
So
healthy paycheck.
I feel. Like I said, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to talk about. You know what I mean? I know that. That's why I wanted you to lead off with this, because I know that it's, that there is a portion of the Philadelphia fan base that is supportive, and I'd be willing to bet that a lot of them are of Latino descent. And that's not, that doesn't mean that, anybody else, that's because this, and you're going to see that mostly it's going to be Caucasian, that are going to be the ones yelling and screaming the loudest here. I don't know that that's going to be the case. I know that there's going to be people on all sides and from all nationalities. They're going to feel very specific ways.
Right.
And I wanted to let everybody know that I feel a specific way too. And like I said, I won't forget that he ever did that. But I am willing to forgive.
Amen,
And
man.
and that he's got to be able to show, just like Michael Vick. Now, truth of the matter is that what Michael Vick did and what Odubel Herrera did is two different things. You know what I mean? Two huge things. But this happened a lot more prevalent 20 years ago, and nobody said a word about.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, and I'm saying all of a sudden, within the last decade, really, all this has started to come more to light.
Yep.
And that shows us bettering ourselves as a society.
Yes, sir.
But we are also human, and we are also supposed to forgive. If you don't want to forgive, that's on you. That's okay. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should feel. But if you feel that you can't forgive, then you better make sure that all the things that you've done in your life, that you should think back and be like, oh, I deserve to be forgiven for that. I deserve to be forgiven for that. And then step in somebody else's shoes. That's the hardest part with everything that happens today. You're not
Right.
able to stick yourself in somebody else's position. You're so quick. Everybody's so quick to talk about how they feel and that they are the most important. And I feel differently about that.
You honestly, you woke up today, the Philly sports guy, and you decided to speak the truth. Like everything you are saying, like I really just want to commend you and applaud you because you are speaking real stuff. And like what you just said about putting yourself in someone's shoes, that is how I live my life on a day-to-day basis. I'm one person that I won't judge and I will not make a quick assumption on someone if I don't know what it is that's what I want to understand what is going on with them before I'm going to sit here and make a judgment here. But when it comes to this, man, with Odubel, you're absolutely right, and I fully believe in second chances. I fully believe that everyone deserves that. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect human beings. I have my dark past as well. I have my dark secrets as well. But like I said, I really hope Phillies made this decision knowing that this guy has learned his lesson, knowing that this guy is in a different head place than he was in 2019. Because again, everyone deserves a second chance, but he definitely needs to learn. We are 2 outs in the bottom of the second, and I think Odubel is going to lead off in the next inning, so we will see what he will look like. But you really hit it on some great points here tonight with this Odubel situation.
Well, like I said, I've thought about this long and hard, and I had a very specific opinion, and then we spoke about it, and it took me listening to what you had to say in terms of a culture, the entire culture being a very specific way. And me not really, like it kind of opened my eyes. It was like, hey, I have no idea what's like wherever, he's from what, the Dominican?
He's from Venezuela, the neighbor. He's
Venezuela.
my neighbor.
So, and that's, especially with all the stuff that's going on down there. You know what I mean? Like they got a whole different world that's happening in terms of socialism and how the have-nots get treated just in general. So that's a really big difference in the way that they are brought up in comparison to the way we are brought up here.
Right.
And we have been brought up. I mean, I'm close to 50 years old. And I was told that I shouldn't hit girls. I was told that. Now it's ingrained in guys. It's ingrained. It's like you can't hit women. This is wrong to do so. I was told I shouldn't. That's the difference between 30 and 40 years of upbringing. The differences between how the generations have evolved and how they think of things and how we move forward with things. That's where it's important. That's why it's imperative that you can't judge everything that you want by
Right.
just oh, he did it wrong, and screw him. He shouldn't be here. He never should be here. Blah blah blah. And that's you just can't do it that way. You just cannot
Right.
do it that way.
Right.
So, and I don't know that it's the right answer either. I mean, I have my opinion, and it's just my opinion. And I can only tell you what my opinion is. I can't ever force anybody to feel the way that I do. I can only ask that you listen to my opinion. You respect it. I will listen to your opinion and respect it. And that's all we can ask of each other.
He's up at his first at bat right now in the top of the third inning. So we'll
I got to
see
imagine. I got to imagine to a few boos.
I'm curious because obviously they're in St. Louis. I wonder how much St. Louis is a good baseball town. I'll give them that. I wonder how much they've kept up with this story though.
I got to imagine that they were let know today. They got the message today. So I got to imagine that he's probably up there to a smattering of boos. Just because again, the same thing with baseball. Just like every time you go to a Houston game that's away, they got trash cans.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that's not going to go away for a long time.
Right, man. Absolutely right. Oh, great! Definitely great conversation. You know me, man. I love sports, but I do realize there are real issues in the world, and we definitely, we can't just always talk about sports. We definitely got to, as Double strikes out his first at bat. But yeah, man, I appreciate these type of conversations, and it's always good to challenge our listeners as well, man, to expand it for sure.
It's interesting because I actually considered that he might get beamed. So that was the thought process that I had. If you think about it that way, like that would be an appropriate first at bat. But,
that's right.
I mean, again, that's just the inner policing of stuff. Like I said, it was a big deal. It's a big deal. And like I said, this is obviously it's not over. It's not over. We're going to hear about it tomorrow. You listen to 94. I have to imagine that Angelo, I'm sure Angelo's not listening to this show. I'm sure Angelo could care less what I got to say. And he's going to be, and he's going to be the one that, I could, arguably, a million people are going to listen to.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Can we get to talk on the diamond?
Yes, we have to. We have to bring it up.
I listen, because there was something that really pissed me off about this weekend. Besides the fact that we lost the series to the Colorado Rapids, I'm thinking MLS again. The Colorado Rockies. We lost the series, but really, what bothers me, Philly sports guy, is what is the thought process of the starting pitching with the Phillies right now? Because I don't know why we saw Vince Velasquez start in general. I'm overseeing Chase Anderson. I've seen enough of Chase Anderson. I've seen enough of Matt Moore. Why aren't we starting Spencer Howard? He is supposed to be part of the future of this team. I'd rather give the nod to a young kid that we're willing to invest in than we know what Vince Velasquez is. And Chase Anderson is not our future either. And like the fact that we allowed this Rockies team to score as many runs as they did, they scored 12 runs yesterday. Five the previous, on Friday night. Like I know Colorado is a hitting ballpark. I understand all that, but my God, like you shouldn't have lost the way you did yesterday. And Bryce Harper literally was all our entire offense yesterday. He scored the only runs. So
Yep.
really, I mean, the series was super frustrating, but the pitching, man, like, give me more Spencer Howard. I'd rather see Spencer Howard than Vince Velasquez and Chase Anderson. Matt Moore is off that 10-day injury or illness list, and so is Jose Alvarado. So we get another piece back in our bullpen, but starting pitching over it, man.
Hey, every time we see double V, we're never going to get a W. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, when we have the double V out there, there's no W coming, and that's just the way it is. He's really good at that. I listened to one at bat. It was bases loaded, and I heard the at bat, and he's like, that first pitch, he goes, yeah, he better not throw another one like that. The announcer, I think it was Larry Anderson that said it, better not throw another one like that. And then he threw another one like that. And it was a 2-2 count, and then he threw another one like that. And he's like, and it's way, 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 way out of here. You know what I mean? That's like he couldn't even get enough ways out there before the ball started to come down again. It was like a moonshot. And that was the only one I listened to. I was like, okay, yeah, the Phillies just went from up 2-1 to being down 7-2.
Just terrible.
So, yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is. I kind of think that the Phillies are going to figure out the pitching situation. I did hear that Cole Hamels is available. Wouldn't hurt to bring him back. I know that he's on the downside, but he's definitely better than what we got. And if you can get him for a bag of peanuts, I would get him. Couldn't hurt. But I don't know if they're going to give him through the bag. I don't know if it's a bag of peanuts that's going to be asked for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're. I want to see Spencer Howard get some starts. I don't know what they're going to do with the end of that bullpen. But I mean, even Zach Wheeler hasn't been looking too sharp either. Like since that first
Don't
start.
worry about Zach Wheeler. This is Zach. That's his MO. Early in the season, not so good. Yeah. Not so good early in the season. Starts coming on stronger in the middle of the season. End of the season, he's lights out. That's Zach Wheeler's MO. And so I have no doubt in my mind that that'll still happen. Here's a question for you.
Sure.
If you pitch a no-hitter in 7 innings, is it really a no-hitter?
That's the debate. Was it a no-hitter? I guess we could say yes, but you got to put asterisks next to it, right?
Well, I mean, is there an asterisk next to it? I guess my question is that when you have no-hitters that get called because of rain, are they considered no-hitters?
That's a great question. I would have to say yeah, because that's what was given was 7 innings. You couldn't play anymore, and he still had a no-hit.
It goes officially as a no-hitter. So you can't, if the rules state this is the rules, then how do you go against them? What I find even more exciting about that was that the next pitcher threw 1 hit ball. So for the entire day, 14 innings, 1 hit for the Atlanta Braves.
That's crazy. That's
because they played the Giants, right? It was Baumgartner that got the no-hitter, and then they came back
as the Diamondbacks.
Oh, the Diamondbacks. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Madison with the 7th inning no-hitter.
Right. So, and then, like I said, the next guy coming up there, and 1 hits them. 1 hit, 14 innings.
Wow.
PU Atlanta, PU. You're supposed to be the cream of this East. PU. At least we can hit the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we just have to kind of stay within Atlanta and the Mets because it doesn't seem like anyone this season is going to be able to run away with the NL East. But right now, I pulled it up. Mets are still in first. They're 9-8 though. We're in second with 10 and 11. Miami and Atlanta are tied at 9 and 12, and DC is at 8 and 11. So literally, it's anyone's division. So for the Phillies,
Kind of
just
reminds me of the NFC East.
man, don't even say that. Can you imagine? The the winner of this division's like a 500 team
Oh,
or like a 78 win team. Can you imagine?
that would make for a very long summer.
Oh man, yes it is. And it's gonna be so frustrating too for the Phillies because you're just gonna be like, just win a game so we can run away with this, and they're just gonna like hang in there. All right, so
Exactly.
it'll definitely be tough, but you just got to hang in there. Really, we just have to hang in there. I mean, really, I'm honestly, I'm comfortable with the bullpen because I know we're missing guys in there, and once we get them back, I think we'll be okay. But still the 4-5 slot still worries me. Center field still worries me. Like I said, I would like if Odubel doesn't work out, give Nick Maton an opportunity out there. I think that's the next plan for the Phillies, or should
Well,
be, I should say.
we will see. We will see. And I leave tomorrow morning. I'm a leaving in my truck. And I'm driving to Cleveland.
All he's packing is an extra Eagles T-shirt. His whole Philly sports guy get up, the whole uniform,
You see this
and
T-shirt, right? It's got the
I
eagle with the mask on.
it's so funny. That is pretty funny.
This is. I got this out in when I was out in Denver at a Philadelphia Eagles bar in
No,
Denver,
you did not.
Colorado.
That is
I
so
swear to
funny.
God, this here. I'll turn around. I'll see if you guys can. You see what it says in the back?
Asbury Provisions COVID-19 crew. That is funny. That is awesome. I like it.
So,
Eagles
shout
fans
out to
battle, man.
Asbury Provisions. When you come out there with me to go to Denver, that's where we're going to go get a drink after we take a tour of Mile High Stadium, if that's what they still call it. I don't even know.
Sports Authority Stadium or Dick Sporting. No, it's definitely Sports Authority. Still probably. But yes, I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, it's Asbury Provisions is a nice little bar out there. Had a great little stuff. It was
Gotta check it out.
it was a great spot. Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. Guys from Philadelphia. He's doing a good job out there. Yeah, Philadelphians are all over the place.
Oh, we are. We really are, especially in the South.
Yeah, in the South, in the West. I mean, we travel everywhere. So there's always a slice of Philadelphia you could find anywhere in the country. Any major city in the country, there's a slice of Philly you could find.
Absolutely. So Thursday, while you're down there, honestly, Philly sports guy, it's going to be the most important day of the year 2021 for the Philadelphia Eagles because I think all of us can agree. I don't think many of us are expecting too much from this team, but this draft, considering the fact that the Eagles put themselves in salary cap hell, this draft is super important. You got 11 picks. You have to find studs that you can't miss. You can't try to reinvent the wheel, drafting Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. This is a super important draft.
It is. And it makes me wonder just exactly what they're going to do. I love hearing the rumors. Because I don't trust any one of them. Not a one of them. It's like I feel like the rumors are thrown out there to definitely throw everybody else off.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I hate when people come up to me like, dude, we're gonna go trade up and still get a quarter. Like, stop buying into everything you're hearing. Just relax, breathe.
The one rumor that I did hear that I do believe is that Ertz will get traded.
I agree. Yeah.
I think Ertz will get traded, and I think that he'll get traded. It'd be interesting. I feel like that will be a trade of our third round pick for another third round pick and Ertz. Like that's what's good to move up a few spots in the draft to get like some type of defensive back, or maybe, and I can't speak intelligently because of course I'm not looking at this, but wouldn't be surprised if they went out of their way to go get a running back.
Interesting.
Again, it's not, I just have this feeling that they're going to try to do something weirdo. And they're going to wind up getting this running back. And I don't know why, but maybe just to throw another little weird thing in the mix. But
yeah, I
personally, I want to see him play defensive back.
Right. I would think. I mean, I would have said that they would have drafted a running back. It's just hard for me to believe because, we know the salary cap hell that we're currently in. They gave Jordan Howard a 1-year deal. You still got Miles Sanders here, and I think Boston Scott's still gonna have some sort of a role here. I personally, I would like to package Ertz in one of these picks in this draft because remember, it's tough to evaluate talent in this draft considering we just went through a COVID season with college football and we didn't have a combine. So I wouldn't mind getting rid of one of these picks with Zach Ertz to move up. Let's say you're in the second round. You want to move into the end of that first round. You package some of those stuff together to move into the end of that first round. Something like that I'd be down with. I feel like they're going to use Ertz to add that cherry on top of the sundae. I think he's going to be the cherry on top of the deal. I think that's what Ertz is going to be in some of these deals. But I agree. I think Ertz, he will be out of Philadelphia by this upcoming Saturday night.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
because I don't know that it's the way he should have gone. However, I also don't know that he should have done what he did. I feel like that he pushed this,
right.
and
With the
realistically,
contract
they
stuff.
didn't want to get rid of him, and now they were kind of forced to, and it makes me wonder exactly what is going on in the executive area of this franchise. I mean, hey, listen, I remember what it was like when we had an owner who sucked. He
You give us brain stories?
first off, I won't even say his name. I won't even say his name. He was, excuse my language, he was an asshole, straight asshole.
A lot of the
And
older fans feel the same way.
And I will never ever mention his name. He's the reason why we didn't win a championship before. And I hope he died broke and by himself. That's how I feel about him. Yeah. I don't have that type of disdain towards anybody, but I mean he held a whole city hostage. A whole city hostage. And all he was a lousy used car dealer. That's what he was, a used car dealer.
Can I ask you real quick? Was he the owner that tried to move the Eagles to Phoenix?
Yes. Setting up whole situations here. We're going to have Cincinnati come to Philadelphia. We're going to move to Phoenix, and Phoenix is going to. San Francisco got kind of wound up in the mix. He's going to move to L.A. He was going to try to move him down to Jacksonville, Florida. He was so busy threatening to move the team that it was like, come on, really, this is what you're doing. I'm not even going to give the best defensive player. We'll call it the second best defensive player to ever play the game. Not even going to offer him a contract.
He hated free agency. He thought it was the dumbest thing ever.
Well,
and it hurt us. It hurt us in the end.
Yes.
That's kind of how the Niners and the Cowboys got theirs in the 90s.
It was. Again, I won't mention his name, but I remember what it was like.
No,
I remember.
I understand.
And I am beginning to think. So when Banner was here, I used to think that kind of thing was going on. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, this guy's another. He's a straight out douchebag. Another reason why we probably didn't win a championship. However, McNabb's ego got in the way of that. So you got one guy who's like Banner, who's like, I'm not changing contracts. In fact, what really pissed me off is that he patted himself on the back because he was able to screw over Jeremiah Trotter. Okay. Again, another asshole. And then he went to Cleveland and he saw what he did there. Got fired is what happened. But
I remember that too. That was funny.
But again, he was Jeffrey Lurie's friend. That's the problem with Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie was given he makes B-rate movies. That was all given to him by his, he was spoon-fed with a golden spoon from his daddy, and was able to get an Eagles team. And he wants to win. I believe that he wants to win. That's the one thing that I will say about him, and that's the difference.
He wants to do it his way, though.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm beginning to not like the ownership, and when that starts to happen, it's like if I feel a certain way, and the way that the stories came out, it's going to start to affect the fans. I just know, even by the way that they deal with me, I mean, I can't even get an email back. I can't get nothing. And I'm not trying to be selfish about that. Like I said, I understand that they got bigger fish to fry than worrying about what I'm going to do for the draft. You know what I mean? But I think it's inherent. I think it's an inherent problem because I see all of the other franchises in the NFL do specific things for their fan base. And I see how certain things are done across the board in the NFL much differently than they're done here.
You know why it is, though, right?
Because it's Philly. Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Well, kind of that. But the thing is that the Eagles product in Philadelphia will always sell. No matter what, we could be 1-15, or we can be 16 or 15-1 team. The Eagles fans will still flock every Sunday with their trailers to park at Wells Fargo Center parking lot to tailgate and to go into that game and spend $1,000 on a Sunday afternoon to watch the Birds. So for the Eagles, I feel like they don't need to work with a lot of us independent content creators or independent people who cover the team in general, because they know they are fine. They don't need any more fans. The whole city, literally, we're Philly sports guy. It's like last month. Got all these sports getting started, and the draft is a month away, and people are like making their predictions of the divisions for next season. It's like that's the type of city we are. The city surrounds and revolves its whole schedule around the Eagles. It's literally everything. So until then, the Eagles, people like you and I, we're just they'll just brush us off.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And I you know what? I can't really even argue with you because I'm still going to love the Eagles either way. You know what I mean? It's
Same.
just it's
Same.
it's ingrained in me. You know what I mean? I don't have a choice. I don't
But
know.
majority NFL fan or majority NFL organizations are kind of in the same boat where like they'll be fine. Like I think maybe there's like 5-6 teams where they need to like actually work with people because their relevancy is down the drain.
And that's what I was about to get to here is that the younger generation is not as loyal. Loyalty is one of those things that is, it went away with the mafia, we'll say, like the mob, loyalty was ingrained and it just had a certain thing to it. And there are a lot of people now that are bandwagons people, and I'm not even going to say that they're bandwagon. They're fantasy football-esque.
Oh God, those guys.
They don't root for teams anymore. They root for individuals.
That drives me insane, dude. Like that casual Eagles fan, we'll be playing like the Bucks, right? And the guy's like, "Yeah, I want the Eagles to win, but I need Mike Evans to go up." Like, dude, no. No. I don't care about your fantasy, who's playing. I need the Birds to win. That's my priority. And I'm a younger guy, and there's kids my age that think like that. And I'm just like, bro, what? The younger me would punch me. Like, I think, no, it's the birds. And if you were in the fantasy, whatever. But you shouldn't be rooting for whoever plays the birds to have a good stat night or stat game so you can win your fantasy game, So
I get it because I typically don't play
I don't
whoever's on
either.
my fantasy team against if they're playing against the Eagles. And it's hurt me a lot of times. A lot of times.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a very good fantasy football player, anyways. I normally stink out loud, but I
I will say though, the NFL, they are kind of resting too much on their laurels, thinking that they'll always have the fans that are here today will be here tomorrow. They need to stop resting on those laurels. I've had the controversial hot take that I believe one day the NBA will take over the NFL as the biggest league in the world because of the fact everyone likes to. I'm telling you.
I would say more about soccer.
Yeah, but the problem is this country in the way we still have markets here in America that doesn't even talk about soccer, including our own market that won't even have 5 seconds of soccer. But when you talk about the NBA, it's pretty big here in America. It's obviously not bigger than the NFL, but where the NBA succeeds and the NFL fails is the NBA does a fantastic job of marketing outside the country. There's countries where basketball is becoming really freaking big. And the NFL, they're just resting on the laurels, knowing that every Sunday, us Americans are gonna head to our local bar or our local watch party, and we're gonna watch our NFL teams every Sunday. And they are getting way too comfortable. And I'll give it to you, soccer. Yes, you know me. So I digest this stuff. Even worldwide leagues like Premier League or even the NBA, who have a more of a global aspect to it, can take over a league like the NFL, and they need to stop being comfortable because it's going to happen. I'm telling you.
Well, the reason why I don't think that it'll be the NBA is because they are too political, and that it's nobody wants politics shoved in their faces during a sporting event. It just happens that way. Now you could feel a certain way. And you're right. I'm not going to tell anybody that they're right or wrong feeling that way. But I think that the problem with the NBA is that you have LeBron James talking about stuff he doesn't know anything about anymore. You know what I mean?
That was a bad look for him.
Not only, but he don't care. He don't care because he's got his millions. We already learned that last year when Milwaukee didn't want to play. And he was the one that stepped up. He's like, well, I don't care if you guys play or not because I still got mine. You know what I mean? All he is an A#1 douchebag is what he is. But that's okay because he's allowed to be because he's made all his millions. He's been told from 16, 17 years old that he's the king. So when you're told you're the king all your life, you believe it. It's the way it happens. So who am I to say that he's wrong? And you know what? People are going to listen to him just because he's going to say it.
You're speaking to a LeBron hater here, man. I hate that. I don't care for that guy. I shouldn't say I hate. I don't care for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally. I mean, I've heard him say he don't like white people. He don't want anything to do with white people. Okay, good for you. Perfect. Whatever. That's perfect. You want to feel that way? You could feel that way. There's a lot of people I'm sure that feel that way. I don't have a problem with you. I don't have to like you either, though. And I don't have to listen to what you got to say. And I used to tell people for the football games, there was a lot of people who got turned off by football because of the whole kneeling thing, and initially I was on Colin Kaepernick's side. He did everything. He did what he did it the right way. The original purpose of what he was doing was done in the proper way. I'm a veteran. I understand. And listen, but when it started to become mainstream, that's when he turned. That's when it was more important for his image than it was for the reason he was doing it. And that's what turned me off about it. I am like I said, I'm a veteran and I don't care. You want to kneel you want to sit down, you want to take a break before while the anthem's playing, go right ahead. I don't care. You know what I mean? You want to say something political, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to you because what you've got to say means nothing to me. You know what does mean something to me? You winning me championships. I want to see championships. You give me some rings. Give me a lot of rings. Win me some championships, and then maybe I'll have an interest in what you got to say. Short of that, you're a sports player. You make a lot of money that I spend to play a game. Play the game. Play the game. Play it well. Win me a championship. I want to buy a fake ring. Maybe I'll even have the money one day to buy a real ring. That's what I care about. I don't care what you got to say. I don't care what you do before the game. You don't want to stand up for the anthem? Whatever. You know what I mean? It don't bother me. Like I said, I served my country, and I served it because I wanted to. I don't, I get almost, it's not like I get embarrassed, but when somebody says thank you for your service, I'm not quite sure how to ever respond to that. It's just, I did it for me because I had that type of pride. I had that feeling that I wanted to serve the country that I did the Pledge of Allegiance to every day. You see, and this goes back to the loyalty thing. We can't even be loyal to our own country anymore. That's why we're so quick to cancel this and cancel that and cancel this and cancel that. And it's that type of thought process that's going to wind up getting everything canceled. That's what happened before. You look about what happened. Yeah, you look back in the 70s and early 80s, actually late 70s in Iran, in Afghanistan, and look at what their whole thing was like. Their whole world was very similar to the West. Somebody thought that was a bad idea. Somebody else listened. Next thing you know, that now that country is so much different. It's not even a shell of what it was.
Right.
It's a shame. People think that people don't know this stuff because they don't like history. They cancel history. I want to put a soapbox. I'm going to get off the soapbox now. You know what I mean? It's like this is the type of quality entertainment you get when you listen to the Philly sports show. You get to hear my thoughts and feelings about. I
will say, I mean, and I won't dwell on this too much because we still have the draft to talk about. But I do genuinely believe, Philly sports guy, in the climate that we are living in America, I think it is important to have these type of conversations, and I think it's important to remember that it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, it doesn't matter your religion, your sexual orientation, where you're from. As Americans, we need to have these type of conversations, and we need to respect each other above all things here, man. And you voicing your opinions, definitely, it's great to hear. It's definitely great to hear. We need to have more of these type of conversations, because I don't want to live through what we've lived through over even the past year. I love this country. Me, we talk about it all the time. Super grateful that my parents made that sacrifice to start a life here in America, and I'm super thankful about that. And I do think that as Americans, we can all do better for sure, man. But you really brought up some great points tonight, and I really appreciate that for sure, man. And and this is, like you said, this is why you guys come here, because we understand that we're sports people, we cover sports, but we're also human beings, and we love you guys. We genuinely love you guys. Anyone that really comes on here, spends time with us, we really appreciate that. It really means the world to us. So these are important things to all of us for sure.
And I'm not saying that I'm right or that you should listen to what I've got to say in comparison to your own feelings. I never push anybody to listen to me. Just like that's why I'm so quick to be able to not have to listen to them. Like I said, they get paid a lot of money to play a game that I pay a lot for. I personally pay a lot. I pay for each one of these games. I don't get anything given to me. And so I don't need to hear what they've got to say. Win some
Right.
championships for me, and I'll be more interested to hear what you got to say. I'll be excited to hear what you got to say. If you gave me 3 rings, Tom Brady, if I was a Tom Brady fan and he was on my team and I got 6 rings, I'd be very interested to hear what Tom Brady had to say, because I'd want to spend time with a winner. That's what I want.
Absolutely.
That all being said, who are we taking in the draft?
That's the number one question here, man. That's the number one question. Philly Sports Guy, I think we think about what the Eagles are going to do in the draft. You got to think about what's going to happen before us. I've talked about it plenty, but I think that at the top of the draft, the top 3 picks seem to be set. It looks like the Niners have decided who they're going to take as well. Looks like, obviously, no surprise, Trevor Lawrence can be 1, Zach Wilson 2. Looks like the Niners are going to go with Mac Jones, which I'm sorry, but I have to laugh a little bit. The real question is pick number 4 with Philly Sports Guy, and I think what we do need as Eagles fans, we need the Falcons to go quarterback. We need the Falcons to go quarterback. That way, some of these other players can drop, and then we can find the player that we want there. At 5, I think Penei Sewell's going to go there. 6, I think the Dolphins are going to go either Chase or a Pitts. I think they're going to go Kyle Pitts. At 7, I think that you're going to see a reach for Rashawn Slater, Dan Campbell. He wants to get a lineman to start his tenure with the Lions. At 8, with that rule, they're going to look to trade down. They're going to do everything in their possibility to trade down. But if not, I could see them taking another quarterback. Could be Trey Lance. And then in the pick 9, I don't know what the Broncos could be doing. That could be a possibility for the Eagles to draft up. I think for the Eagles, what they have to ask themselves is whether or not they want to get Patrick Surtain. If that's the case, you call Denver, you trade up, and you go get Patrick Surtain. Personally, Philly Sports Guy, I want J.C. Horn. Both Horn and Surtain, really talented cornerbacks, played in the SEC. They have all the talent to start in this league. I think Horn, for me, I like the speed a little bit better. I also like his mentality a little bit better. He's kind of got that chip on his shoulder, that underdog mentality. His dad's Joe Horn. Like, Joe Horn played like that his whole career. So I think JC's got that as well. And I feel like he fits Philly better than Surtain. Surtain goes to Dallas. He's perfect for Dallas. He's that type of player. J.C. Horn is going to come in here. He's going to fit that Philly mold. And that's my top choice. It's J.C. Horn. Give me J.C. Horn at pick 12.
Okay. Who did you say was going to go number 2?
I mean, the Jets seem enamored with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that'll be a mistake for them, which is right up their alley.
I agree.
So,
Poor Jets fans.
So I've been thinking, and I'm like, what craziness could the Eagles do? What craziness could the Eagles do? So I'm going to say you're Jacksonville. And the Eagles call you up and say, listen, hold on, listen. I'm going to give you our number 1 this year. I'm going to give you 2 number 1s next year. The Miami pick and our pick. We might still have another one. Our 2nd round pick and Zach Ertz and Hurts. Do you do the deal?
No. Well,
you're getting 3 first-round picks.
My question is, why would Jacksonville do that deal?
So I'm only really doing that to just try to start the point.
Stir the pot.
To start the point here, because ultimately you're giving up a quarterback, a tight end, and 3 first-round picks for the number 1 pick, and getting Trevor Lawrence.
You think the Eagles are looking to do something like that?
So, I don't think Jacksonville does that at all. I don't think Jacksonville does. I think Jacksonville stays with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's generational, man. You don't.
But now you're the Jets. Jets do that?
I don't think so either. Dude, I don't know what it is with Zach Wilson. Why are
I
teams so
disagree.
enamored? Why are teams so enamored with Zach Wilson though? First off. What like
Listen, Ed, I'm not talking about whether it's too much for us. You're right. That would be a lot to give up for the second pick in the draft.
I know what you're trying to get at. I get it. I mean, this team you can't trust. You can't trust this organization to do the right thing on draft night. The most important day of this whole year. The year 2021, this Thursday is the most important day. Thursday and Friday, the two most important days of this Eagles year in 2021. And I don't trust him to do the right thing. I don't. I told you, J.C. Horn, my top choice right now at pick number 12. I don't think the Eagles are thinking about that right now. And that makes me go crazy.
So, I don't know.
What do you want? So if we stay status quo and we're hoping Howie and the Eagles won't do anything dumb, what are you
cornerback.
with?
I want a cornerback. Okay. You know, I want a cornerback, and I don't care if it's Surtain or if it's
J.C. Horn.
Both of them had fathers that played in the NFL. I like it. I like it when there is families, when football is ingrained in them. You know what I mean? It's ingrained in them. Like they have learned it from the crib. You know what I mean? That's what happens, because they watched their dad, they saw all the things. Their father kind of pushed them, like to play that. And this is how you're going to play. This is how you do things. This is how we do it. And that was what was going on with Simmons initially. You know what I mean? That Simmons was, now we're going to basketball, but I kind of feel the exact same way. It was like Ben Simmons had a father who knew how to play, played basketball. It was ingrained in him from the very beginning, and he was able to transcend and become what he is today. I understand that, all things being said, it's not maybe enough for some people, but he's still a great, great player. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Father played a lot of basketball, did his thing. He was able to become one of the all-time greats. Now you've got, now turn it to football. And you've got these guys who have drank, slept, schooled football all of their lives. Either one of them is going to be great.
Okay.
I think either one of them is going to be really good and would be a great pick. Do I think we're going to get either one of them? I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think that 10 is really where it's interesting with Dallas, what they are thinking. I mean, if they were smart, that would be that they would select Patrick Surtain if he's there. Pick 11 with the Giants. That's another spot where, the Giants could think about, messing up our draft plans as well. I would expect that they would be looking at what's his name, Micah Parsons, but I'm hearing his stock is falling. But I mean, regardless, it's tough when you have to pick when Dallas and the Giants are picking right ahead of you. That is definitely tough. I do like that J.C. Horn. We talk about both Surtain and Horn having that pedigree with their dads playing in the NFL. Patrick Surtain Sr., he was a solid cornerback in the league, played with those solid Dolphins defenses from when I was growing up with Zach Thomas, Junior Seau, Sam Madison, and all those guys. But J.C. Horn, his dad was a solid receiver in the league. So his dad was able to teach him what those receivers think about what they do. So he has the point of view from the receiver point of view. So I think I kind of like that as well. And his speed. The only downfall with J.C. Horn is he's a little too aggressive sometimes. In college, he was a little too aggressive with those hands, caught a couple PIs. But I'm hoping that with John Gannon and his D-back background and the way he develops guys, he can help him with that type of stuff. That's the good news. Jonathan Gannon is a defensive background. He's helped a lot of cornerbacks in his day. So that's definitely some good news for whatever secondary player we bring in here, man.
Well, I agree. Ian just throws this one out here that the Falcons are going to trade the 4th overall pick to the Steelers for every first and third round pick between now and 2028, just about, like literally first and third in 2022 and first and second in 2023. There's no way the Steelers do that. There's no way the Steelers do that.
They'd rather take a flyer on like a 5th round draft pick, 5th round quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. And if I was the Falcons, I would absolutely do that because that means the Steelers are going to stink for the next couple of years, and you're going to have a really good pick.
I think you'll see a couple trades in this draft. I think the Broncos, the Patriots, and the football team are the 3 teams to look out for trading up.
Yeah, the hard part about that is how much of the future do you want to try to push? Like, how much you're going to move up if you're Washington to try to get up and get one of these quarterbacks.
I'm hearing in this draft, a lot of teams are okay with getting rid of picks in this draft because the whole like evaluation process is not like we normally are used to it. The college football season was a little off. We had no combine, so a lot of teams are willing to part ways with picks in this draft to get the guy that they feel is a lock in to be a starter for them. So look out for those trades.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well. It's out of all the drafts to have the most picks in, I'm not really excited about this one, but we'll see because ultimately we're going to talk about this for a long time afterwards. It's going to be a very long time, and I wish I could say that Howie's going to be on the hot seat or that he's already on the hot seat, but I don't think he is. I think that he's very secure in his position and he's going to remain in his position and we're just going to have to deal with it.
So let me ask. So what is the exact plan so far for Thursday for you? Well, you're obviously going to be down in Cleveland. You're be all eagled up. What's the plan so far?
I wish I could tell you. As of right now, I do not have a ticket in. I am going to be working out my way to get in there, as I only know how. You know what I mean? I have a lot going for me to the fact that I was the most televised NFL fan this year.
Yes, sir.
And I am also the reigning loudest fan in the NFL. I want to see anybody compete me on that one. Yeah, it was funny. I was at the Flyers game. You guy sitting next to me is like, man, I don't know if I could even yell anywhere near half as loud as you. He's like, how do you not lose your voice? And I'm like, I'm used to it. You know what I mean? So I am, that's why I'm going a little early. I'm going to feel around, see what's going on, find my friends and work my way in. Find the place in the place in the fence that I could go through and just kind of sneak my way in. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you got any connects with the dog pound up there?
I do. So I do have a couple of super fan friends that are part of the dog pound.
Cool.
And in the super fan community, I'm really tight with everybody. So
that's awesome.
And they know, and like they know that I am. I'm going out of my way here to try to make this all happen. So they are going to be helpful here.
Will you be going live if you can't get in still?
Oh yeah. I'm going to be going live every bit way that I can. I'm going to get in. I just don't know that I'm going to be able to be in the inner circle as it would be. I kind of expect that that's going to be for the actual fans that the teams designated and paid for, because a lot of my friends got paid for to go to this draft. They're putting them up in hotels and stuff. God bless them. You know what I mean? God bless them. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, if listen, myself and Kata Hart will also be doing our live stream. We'll be doing the pregame. We'll be doing breaking down every pick. You can definitely check that out. Hopefully, the Philly sports guy can make an appearance as well. We can get the eyes from Cleveland from the Philly sports guy. So definitely
As
check
best
it
as
out.
I can. As best
Yes,
as I
sir.
can.
Oh,
Well,
you
listen,
always do a great
everybody.
job, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Listen, everybody, thank you very much for joining us again. It's another episode in the books of the Philly Sports Show. Check us out this week as we get ready for the draft. Go Birds! Yeah!
Baby, let's
Good night,
go.
everybody.
Say it.